We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live.
Oh man, you hate to see it. You just hate to see it. Canelo Alvarez, payday, you want payday. I know that. He says he's better than Dimitri Bivol, and he shouldn't have lost to him, but he also shouldn't have fought him. I can explain. Let's talk about it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, Canelo Alvarez, big fight this weekend, September 30th versus Jermell Charlo. Now, Canelo has done a recent interview with Hugo Sanchez, and he says that the Bivol fight, he basically should have pulled out. He says, quote, I wasn't 100% physically, my hand wasn't 100%, and I couldn't train 100%. A week before the fight, I suffered a rib injury during training. Mr. Payday continues to say, I shouldn't have fought. That defeat is still a pain in my heart. I still haven't gotten over that moment. It affected me deeply because I shouldn't have lost. I am simply better than him. So he's saying he's better than Bivol and he shouldn't have lost. I don't know, man. Sounds like a bunch of excuses to me. So the funny thing is this, boxing fans, you look at the word fanatical. The root word of fanatical is fan. And you see that. You see that with fans, this level of crazy bias and favoritism, sometimes national pride, sometimes racism in boxing, where if a certain guy does something, people turn a blind eye. It's almost like you work at a retail store. Let's say you're in your 20s and you work at a retail store, and someone you went to school with, you went to high school with, is shoplifting, and you don't want to narc them out. So even though you work with this company, you see someone shoplifting and you just pretend you don't see it or go on your break or something because you don't want no parts of it, instead of, like, you know, preventing the shoplifting at your job. That's what people do in the world of boxing. I can explain. So if a fighter that they don't fancy does X, Y, and Z, what they do is they'll ream that fighter. They'll say, oh, that fighter's making excuses. Oh, this fighter's fan base is full of it, and blah, 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 when it comes to any reasons as to why they lost. But when it's a fighter you like let's say media, and let's say Canelo Alvarez, now all of a sudden it's cool. And I seem to be the only one making videos about this, or at least the first to make videos, because, you know, when I make videos, people copy and, you know, do the same concepts and stuff that I do. So I always am the first to draw blood and talk about these things. And it's just funny that Canelo Alvarez is given a pass like this, where he can come out and say, I'm better than Bivol, I shouldn't have lost to him. I mean, just hear me out. So after the fight, Canelo Alvarez said he won the fight. Just tell me if this makes sense. Canelo Alvarez payday, he said he won the fight. He said he beat Bivol, and Bivol only won a couple rounds, 3-4 rounds, whatever, right? So it's a 12-round fight, championship fight. He moved up to light heavyweight for it, and he said Bivol didn't win, I won the fight, right? Now, he didn't rematch Bivol, despite having the A-side advantage and a written contract that stipulated Bivol would have had to rematch him, just like Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, because there's a rematch clause. And he didn't press the issue. He didn't pull the trigger and activate the rematch clause that him and Eddie Hearn put into the contract. So what does that tell me? That tells me that you're not as confident as you're now saying. You've let the fight pass by. Bivol, outside of the Zordo fight, he's like a difficult guy to deal with. So it doesn't look like he can get many big fights at the moment, right? Bob Arum said better be a fight ain't happening this year, things like that. And Canelo could have easily rematched him if he felt the type of way, but he didn't, and he allowed the rematch clause to expire. Now, ahead of his Charlo fight, moving a guy 14 pounds up, you're fighting a smaller guy, and now you're talking this ish about I'm better than Bivol, and I shouldn't have lost, and I shouldn't have fought, I should have pulled out. Well, tough titty, because at the end of the day, it's your obligation as a fighter, and somebody who's been as pro as long as Canelo Alvarez. You've been a pro since 15, and you're now 33, so you at least fought Bivol when you're probably, let's say 30, 31, whatever, because it was a couple years ago. So at the end of the day, you're a 15-year pro at that point. You know, at least you know your body. If you had a rib injury and all this stuff that you're now complaining about, you could have easily called it quits and said, yo, this ain't gonna work. You know, I apologize to my fans. Ticket refunds will be available, but we gotta push this back. Or if you wanna keep the rescheduled date and go to the show, we'll and make the fight happen at a later date. So I'm not trying to hear it. And it's funny because old media always gets a pass. Lomachenko loses to Teofimo. He had a bum shoulder. Manny Pacquiao, I want to, it's up to my promoter, I believe that 145. He loses to Floyd Mayweather. He had a bad shoulder and had to go in the ocean for salt water. Teofimo loses to Kambosos. Same thing. His esophagus blew up and all these different reasons, you know. And now Canelo is saying that he really knows he's better than Bivol. But why didn't you rematch him then? If you just had a rib injury, why didn't you just press for the immediate rematch and then take him out if you know you're better than him? But you didn't. You instead fought a 41-year-old Gennady Golovkin who has been getting hit more and more and doesn't look like the same fighter. And then after that, you fought against like whoever, John Ryder or whoever. You know what I mean? So you didn't really want no parts of Bivol, so it's hard for me to believe that you believe you're better than Bivol with that. And as far as like the rib injury, again, when Wilder says whatever he says about the Tyson Fury losses, people say, oh, Wilder's just making excuses. But then when you have a fighter like Canelo, again, I seem to be the only person really talking about Canelo making these excuses as to why he lost. You know, even Errol Spence versus Crawford. Errol Spence, he hasn't even really said anything. But people like myself and fans believe he was weight drained and have come out and said, hey, his weight, it looked like he had trouble making weight because that was like the flattest performance. People say, oh, no, your ego, you're just making excuses for Errol. But what is Canelo doing? He's saying he should have pulled out and he's better. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. You didn't. You fought. Your team let you fight. You cashed out and made the money from the fight and you lost. And you lost bad. And to be honest, it didn't even look like, it looked like a stylistic issue. Like no matter when you fought Bivol, you're going to have problems with that because Bivol, nice 1-2, some good in and out movement. The arm punches weren't hurting him. Your loaded up shots weren't affecting him, you know. And I did a previous video about it. Another Canelo sparring partner, you know, came out and spilled the beans and said Canelo's lazy. He said Canelo is lazy. And I think he was even sparring him for the Bivol fight. He said Canelo's lazy. And then as far as the rib injury, he said it happened the last week. That sparring was out before the last week of, you know, his fight camp. So I just find it funny. If you're better than Bivol, then why did you go a different direction and not rematch Bivol? And it's funny because guys like Wilder, you got to give him at least props. People said, oh, you can't beat Fury and stuff. He still pushed it. He had to go through litigations and things like that to ensure he got a fair shake and got the rematch with Tyson Fury, even though the second and third fight didn't work out for him and he lost it. Same thing with Errol Spence. Some people are like, Crawford, he just got your number. He's still pushing the issue. He's defiant. He's a true fighter. Canelo Alvarez, he's saying he's better than Bivol, but he won't show that he's better than Bivol by actually fighting him. And Bivol even offered to come down to your division. Bad look. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. And I'm out. Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxing Ego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new interactive and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks.
The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation.
Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.